I hit everything 3 times. I think we're working. We are now, just for your information, there was an L in there. That'll be on the quiz later. In the effort to preserve all of our greatness, we're pushing everything over to the Learning Channel. So if you click the live button that is now on the morning news that says the quick start's happening, and you can go to Facebook Live, or you can go to the Learning Channel, it's going to pull you over to our live channel. That's where we're pushing interviews like the one that we had with Troy on Friday. If you have never heard Troy talk about all things real estate, we had a pretty good time. He told an interesting story. I won't release the amount. I'm going to let you go hear that for yourself. I love that he shared the amount. We all know we've got some friends now across the street at a brand I won't bring up. Actually, they don't even know who they are now because they're part of Anywhere. I can say Anywhere. They're a competitor. So Anywhere has all these people now that they're in charge of. And one of their little brands used to run around with a checkbook, feverishly writing checks to people. And Troy, if you watch it for no other reason, go to our learning videos, go to the live tab in YouTube, and you'll see Troy and I talking last Friday. And he shared the check they were going to share with him, and then tells the story why he didn't take the check, which is, of course, the butter on the bread. Fascinating. Just a fascinating conversation with Troy Williams. We're continuing. The Nate'ology conversations are going to continue all the way through. At this point, I am about to book a guest for the other side of Chicken Giving. So we're just going Fridays straight through. We're talking to all of our friends who have been hanging out with Nate for quite some time. A lot of our mega agents who have buildings, because you have to be a special brand of crazy. There, I'll say it. To be like, you know what? I'm going to join this company, but I like Nate just enough, but I do want my space. Right? It's like it's like the kids that love their parents, but like, listen, I'm going to move out. I'll be right down the street, but I want my own space. I want my little brother to stop stealing my chocolate milk. I need my own space. So we're going to talk to a lot of our mega agents that have their own buildings, mega agent offices, and that'll be going straight through most of the Fridays up until we run out of 2025. And then we'll
have I not been invited to that, because most my stories are about the blackjack table?
Listen, yeah, well, Friday, I'll tell you, no, you haven't been invited. And Friday, Troy's like, can I say anything on here? I'm like, yeah, it's not network television. You can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. So anyway, getting back to the details at hand, we are here. We're escaping today, as you can see on the morning news. When you open that, right around 7:15, it hits the inbox. There's also something to remember too. Sunday nights at 7:00, and there's a reason why we do it at 7:00, and I'll explain that in a second. We send out the wow. It's what's on for the week. Just to make sure you remember, there's some outliers that are going to happen this week that wouldn't happen every week. That email always hits Sunday at 7. The mindset behind that, and this may have changed, but I don't feel that it has, because I've had conversations with people that know what they're talking about. When it comes to social media and SEO, 7:00 is like the witching hour. 7:00 on a Sunday night is when people are sitting back down. They're back. They pulled their boat out of the water. They're home for the weekend. They've done whatever they're going to do all weekend historically. And by 7:00, they're starting to plug back in. So if there's a message that you want to have, gain teeth and traction by Monday morning when people are in their office, because what are people doing right now? It's 8:34 on the East Coast in North America. Most people are pretending to work at their cube, and they're reading their emails or they're checking social media. So your story or your content would have gotten teeth all night long. So that's why we post the wow at 7:00. A friendly reminder to you, we're tapping you on the show to let you know that we're getting back into our week, and maybe it's a good time to drop whatever content you were thinking about dropping if you want it to have some legs for Monday morning. So that hits every Sunday night. Of course, every Monday through Friday at 7:15-ish, you're going to get your morning news. And in the morning news, we have today's calendar. Lots of stuff going on today. Fight Club is at 9:00. If you want to join us at KWFightClub.com, you can go in there. Cameras on, microphones off. You're doing letters. You're making phone calls. You're texting people. Whatever you're doing to make sure that you're having enough conversations that you're thrilled to know, because we are 90 days out. We almost skipped over it, Pedro. We're 90 days out from January 4th. So I will say what James Shaw is going to start to say pretty soon. When you wake up on that first full business day of January, whatever that is for you, 15% of your goal for 2026 should be pending by then. So we are in the midst right now where we're definitely doing activities right now for results that'll happen in January. We also have Ignite. Christian Scott is delivering Ignite today. Win the Seller. That's at kellerignite.com. Proven Cappers Mastermind today at 11 o'clock. You can go to timsoffice.com for that. In-house here in Portsmouth and on the Zooms, we've got the CEU, 2 New Hampshire, and 2 Maine credits. It's home warranty disclosures. That's today at 12 here in Portsmouth and on the Zooms. You can do that at Keller TV. The link is right in the morning news. The Midday Protocol. We have conversations about what we did or didn't do. And we're also talking about the 12 tactics of shift. We're on tactic number 7 this week. That's at 1 o'clock, timsoffice.com for that conversation where we ask about your conversations, your appointments, and your written contracts. At 1:30, ask the brokers. Did you get arrested over the weekend? Did you have a question from another broker over the weekend? Did you run into something that you were like, I don't really know what that's all about? You can ask the brokers. That's every Monday at 1:30. That's at kellertv.com. And that is today. And then, of course, the 1-2 punch. It's a long list. I know, Pedro. Hang on, buddy. Hang on. The 1-2 punch today of Maggie McDowell, our tech trainer for the region. She is delivering Tech Your Business to the next level. You can register for that weekly call. The link is in the morning news. And then at 3 o'clock, I finally convinced Tiffany Hampton to rename it, rebrand it, and just keep it simple. It's going to be 25 and 26. 24 and 25 will be 25 and 26. She's relaunching that today. That is a playbook for the activities of, hey, there's all this stuff at KW. I don't know what I should be doing next. And it's a simple solution of here are all the things. She has injected AI. If you haven't met Tiff, she's super dorkalicious. She's also leading book club on Thursday nights after school. And this Saturday, she's got another cool special going on at 11 o'clock. We'll talk more about that later in the week. We do have Pedro with us. Everything I just blabbed about, you can find in the morning news, which hits your inbox at 7:15. Pedro, you'll love this. I was talking to somebody most recently, and they're just like, yeah, I didn't know that was going on. I didn't know that was going on. I said, hey, listen, I completely understand. I say this all the time. It's very difficult to read the ingredients when you're inside the jar. So if you're a staff member here at KWC, I'm like, how could you not know? Well, we live it every day. And we've got agents that are plugged in to some level or a deep level. And then there's some people that are just like the woman I ran into a couple of weeks ago. And she was just like, I just didn't know that was going on. And I'm like, well, the morning news. And she goes, yeah, I don't open that. And I said, okay. And I very politely said, and I leaned forward, and I did this with my hands too, because I know you guys love it. I'm like, so how would you like us to let you know what's going on? She didn't have an answer. She's like, I'll start to open the email. I'm like, I love that about you. So if you are wondering what's going on, absent clicking the email every morning at around 7:15, you can reach out and ask and just say, hey, what's going on today? I'm happy to read it to you. I'm like the kiosk at the mall. The food court's that way. Lids is over there. GameStop's two doors down on the left. It's my job, Pedro. Pedro's here to talk about commercial. What I wanted to ask you, I was driving and saying, what could I ask Pedro about commercial? As we're coming up on the new year, obviously, everyone's doing business planning. And when I talk about, like I just said, and you've heard me say it for years, hey, we're 90 days out from January 4th. There's a different lifespan with commercial deals. So how do you and other commercial agents in your conversations, like what's the mind frame of like, hey, and I know it's going to be different for everybody because some deals are bigger than others and have just bigger lifespans. But what would you say in your head is the average lifespan of a commercial deal?
From getting them signed to getting them under?
Yeah.
I don't think 90 days is still a good benchmark.
Okay.
But the focus, I would say for me and other commercial agents that I work with, it's really about just filling the pipeline. And then the deals just flow after that.
Yep.
The more conversations, the more filling the pipeline, the 90 days, 120 days, 45 days, it doesn't truly matter as much. And I think that probably in residential too, as long as you're doing your job,
you're right.
And filling the pipeline, you've done the business planning, you've stuck to your models, you've done the 135, and you do a 411 every week. The work produces what the work produces, and if you're not doing the work, 90 days doesn't matter either. So I know that wasn't a straightforward answer to you, but
no, yeah, it's well put, because honestly, tomorrow's January 5th, January 6th, January 7th. So every day we're in that 90-day window. What do you find for you is, from a commercial standpoint, where do you know like historically, if you looked at all the business that you've completed since you joined real estate, since you started to lean into commercial, like for you, I can blame the greatness of my business on these conversations or these interactions or going to do these certain activities. What has been fruitful for you?
Um, I really think that the bulk, not think, I know the bulk of my business comes from the activities that I go out and do in the community that I enjoy, whether that's racing the sailboats, golfing, to the dinners at the Warwick Club. And it's more about building relationships than it is about sales. And to rip off, something that Troy had told me in a personal conversation maybe 9 years ago about being the Google to everybody
Yeah.
around you. So
Yeah.
even if I have stumbled and am not the realtor top of mind, they think about me for who's the best florist, dentist, and realtor. And normally, hopefully at that point, I can spin them back around to me.
Sure.
But it comes from doing the things I enjoy. I could show you the numbers.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up too. Like you mentioned the Warwick Club, which is a social club you belong to, playing golf, sailing, and then right behind that you said it's not attached to sales, which was like pun intended, but I didn't say it. I wanted to let you keep going. Um, it's so true. The number one thing I hear all the time, and I know you've heard from agents who are just getting into the industry. Well, I don't want to bother my friends, or I don't want to come across as salesy. And to your earlier point, Pedro, that's why it's so important that we do and Jason Abrams said this years ago. What are you currently near that you're not in? Like, are you around? Like, are you at Sunday Mass on Sunday or Saturday synagogue? And there's, and I use this example because this was something that we didn't do. Is there was always on the third Sunday after the 10:30 Mass, there's going to be a pancake breakfast. My wife loved COVID. She's not the one that's like, let's go down and rub elbows and eat flapjacks. That's not Janina. Cameron's diabetic, can't wait to go downstairs and eat flapjacks. And Aiden was ambivalent to it. And I was just like, yeah, we're just going to head out. And the more I thought it through, it's like, okay, this is the thing I'm near, but I'm not in. I don't have to go have the flapjacks. What if my real estate team sponsored the flapjacks? Just a simple little thing. Like there's a community that you have a commonality with that you may be ignoring, or you have to remember that you're the person in that community. If there's 4 of you on the tee box, to your point, and I remember, Adam saying this years ago, like if you're in a men's or a women's twilight league, the probability that you're going to be in a foursome with another realtor, there's a possibility, but it's probably like, and I used to fill in, like Nate would be like, I'm traveling, can you go jump in? And I'd go and jump in at Kingswood. And it'd be some old guy, Larry, who's just sits and reads Reader's Digest all day until he comes over to play golf. He's just angry at the world. That's fine. Some guy who is retired, but he day trades. And then maybe the third guy is selling life insurance. And no offense, but nobody wants to really talk about that necessarily. It's not a real sexy topic. And then they find out you're in real estate and you sort of own the conversation for the 2 hours or the 4 hours, whatever you're playing. And when you're doing that, they've already got the response. They've already got the response that you are sharing that commonality. They have that thing in common with you. And now it's just natural that they're going to have a conversation about a thing that a lot of people want to talk about. And I trust is probably an added question mark when you talk about commercial, because people are just like, oh, I don't even know what that means. Because thank God HGTV hasn't ruined that for us yet. There's not a lot of commercial shows that make humans think they know everything about the topic. So I trust there's a lot of curiosity when you peel the onion a little bit more about commercial.
Yeah, and I'd be honest with you, I don't lead with that. With commercial, I just talk about real estate in general and see where the conversation goes, because
Sure.
Even if it's not an opportunity for me to serve them, it is an opportunity for one of our 600 and something other agents, at Keller Williams that can serve it. And people send me a lot of referrals, and my goal is to send as many back, if not more.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to challenge you on is the mindset of, maybe there's going to be more realtors there. There's a lot of business that gets done, not even just because I'm a commercial agent, but referrals get done because some people don't want to work with their family, and they don't want to work with a friend, or whatever the reason. There's 100 different reasons why they are saying no to this transaction, where the transaction might be right for me. as well as just, I do a lot within my board, and I go to other board events as well, because the having a relationship with the agents before I go into a transaction is wildly important as well. So I'm happy if another realtor ends up on that tee box with me, because there's still opportunity there in many different avenues.
Sure. The only reason I brought that up is I know that people feel like they don't want to. I think we get into a B&B mindset. Like, oh, I was going to join that, but they already have their realtor, right? And people feel like, or if there was a realtor that maybe had a little more business under their belt, they might clam up a little bit. But to your point, and it's so good, when we do talk to people, when I ask, anybody, hey, listen, how many people do you have? How many names, in your command, whatever you're using for your CRM or in your phone? And, I hear this all the time. They're like, 4,000. But Tim, half of them are realtors. Okay. They still need to know that you're alive. They still need to know. And how many of them are truly remote? Like, they're not around at all. But you also have some realtors that won't come across the state. There's some that will, but there's some that won't, for a myriad of reasons. The agents in our life need to know that we're in business, and we should be communicating with them as much as possible, because the referral business can be huge if you're really good at having those conversations.
And if you're here, and I'm in my 10th year here at Keller Williams, and there's reasons why I'm here, and there might be people I bump into that are at different brokerages that need the same thing I got here. And it's not always about, if you're leading with the referrals and if you're leading with the recruiting, then nothing's ever going to happen. But if you're coming to be contribute to a community, whatever the community that is, that's where the success happens for them and for you.
Yeah. For you, there's been such a conversation this year, and it's not going to slow down, but I think it's going to become more commonplace. But I feel like almost every training, and there were a lot of memes over the summer as we were getting ready to go to Mega Camp. Like, the show's two guys come in, they sit down, they get their lanyards on whatever their real estate convention is, and they're like, all right, everybody, we're going to talk about AI. And they look at each other like, you want to go get some drinks? And they walk out. It's almost like they're hearing it so much, and they're just like, okay, AI, I get it. But do we? Like, are we utilizing it really well? And I guess the question for you in your business, knowing that you went from, and you got to talk about it. I know in your office here in Portsmouth, you've got the handwriting machine, which is just amazing. Like, so you were doing mechanical AI before it was a thing, right? So the artificial intelligence of having that handwriting machine that was quilling out letters for you. How are you inserting AI into your business now? What is it leveraged for you? And what are some things that you haven't used it for that you're curious about?
I would say,
did you name the handwriting machine?
No, I have not.
No nickname.
You know me and commitment. I can't get that attached. I would say, hands down, the biggest thing AI does for me is I get, full disclosure, diagnosed in 3rd grade, ADHD and dyslexia. Composing an email is one of the most, I get the most trepidation about composing an email. And I can just write some thoughts down in AI and give AI the gist, and it will compose the email. And then I normally ask it to write it again, and it will give me a different version. And then I normally ask up to 3 times, and then I can start to play it together and what sounds most like me. And instead of putting it off until 5:30 at the end of the day, you see me pacing around the office. It's normally because I'm trying to figure out how to craft an email. So that's probably the biggest one that I use it for. Recently, I applied for a CCIM scholarship to take one of the classes I have to take for my designation.
Yep.
And I asked, one of the things was write a resume. I haven't written a resume since 1999. So, my past career it was word of mouth got me to the next spot.
Sure. Yep.
Same thing here. So it helped me craft an outline for a resume. And I also was asking it to how to present the package the best way possible. And I give it a lot of credit for getting me the scholarship. So anything that I'm going to Google, I tend to go to ChatGPT. Yes. And then I cross-reference. I do them both. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just believe the ChatGPT or the Google. So, you know what I mean? It's definitely some cross-referencing, but it's taken away a lot of the trepidation in some of the things that I don't have strengths in.
Yeah, I'm interested. I haven't done it yet. I was just talking to Aiden at school over the weekend. We got our 2013, or not 2013, our September 2021. These are 13 Maxes, 13 Pro Maxes. So we haven't upgraded. And I'll probably wait till he gets home over the winter break to do it, so it's not messy. So my phone, although I'm on the 26 iOS, is not mechanically smart enough, I guess. Hi, Tim Cook, you look great. To do the Apple Intelligence thing. I haven't played with any Apple Intelligence. I know we have Pro through Gemini. I find I use it, but I don't use it as much as the ChatGPT because she was the girl that I dated first, and I've spent the most time with it. I was in the car the other day, and Janina hasn't really seen me use it, and I pull up Chat, and I'm like, hey, Chat. I named her Rachel, but I didn't want to do that in front of Janina. It's a long story. So I said, hey, Chat, and I asked her a question, and like before I was even done finishing my question, Pedro, she starts to draw a breath. It's so humanized and it's so seamless on some things you dig because it will tell you ChatGPT 5 right now is working with 2024 information. So if you go a few layers deep, you'll hear it thinking, but more often than not, she was drawing breaths before she answered me, which is so, I guess, just emotionally smart to do that because it fills that gap with a very human response of. And then she started talking, and Janina's like, that's so spooky. Kaylee and I were going to a leadership thing 2 weeks ago, driving to Quincy, and we just left her on. I mean, we're probably going to get taken away by the state, but we just left it on. And she was part of our conversation driving down to Quincy. All kinds of leadership questions and stuff like that. Just crazy.
To answer your question about what I would like to use it for next, I actually think we were in the parking lot on the call before I went to the Blaine Strickland class in Burlington a few months ago. Yeah. And during lunch, we got to tour the Google Gemini. They have a whole floor, and they show you everything they use it from doctors to infrastructure to stores, AI stores. It was pretty cool. But they had, and this was in the medical part, but they had like a head, with a digital face on it. And they were just talking to it like you would talk to a doctor or a nurse to get the information. And in the conversation, they were showing how it will push back or you can push back. And I really thought that AI will be great as a scripting. What do we call it? It's not scripting anymore.
Just dialogue, conversation, sure.
To just practice my dialogue and rebuttals and stuff like that. And I haven't delved into it since I had that little thought, but I do think it would be a great scripting partner.
I will show you. I'll test drive it for you real quick. It's pretty impressive. And Jay Baer said this. He's a great writer. He's been coming to KW events for a handful of years, and he at Mega over the summer said it's a 20-60-20 ratio. 20% is the prompt you give it. And I'm not like, there are people that give really good prompts. I don't live in that world yet. I'm getting better. 60% is all the heavy lifting the AI does. And then 20%, to your earlier point, Pedro, is us going back in and humanizing it. Because what's going to become extraordinary now is when somebody gets an email and they're like, oh, that might have been AI assist, but that definitely sounds like Pedro. As opposed to now you're seeing and feeling, you get an email, you're like, oh, somebody just asked a computer to send me an email. And that doesn't really feel great. So if you're using ChatGPT, and I know most of you know this, at the very bottom next to your microphone, you see that little black circle with the wavelengths. You want to hit that, and then you just start talking. Let's see what she does. Hey, chat. Could we do a real estate role play? I'm the agent who wants to win your business. You are a flustered and aggravated and I guess that's good. Expired listing civilian who is getting a lot of phone calls and you're tired of talking to people and you just want us to leave you alone. Could we do that?
Absolutely. Let's jump into it. I'll be the frustrated homeowner who's had it up to here with all these calls. You can be the agent trying to win me over despite my, well, let's just say aggravation. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and start and I'll play my part.
Hi, Mrs. Jones.
Oh, another agent, huh? Look, I've had about a dozen of you call me today and I'm honestly just exhausted. I've had my listing sitting out there and I'm just not in the mood to chat. So what do you want?
I completely appreciate that. I don't want to waste any of your time. Is there a point in time this week where we could get together? I'd love to sit down and find out about what your goals are insofar as putting your house back on the market and getting it sold.
You know, I get what you're saying, but I really just feel like I'm being bombarded. And honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to put it back on the market right now. I just kind of want a little peace and quiet. So if you've got something different to say than the other agents, go ahead. But otherwise, I'm just not sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. So you're willing to talk now then?
Well, I guess you kind of got me there. I mean, I'm talking, right? So yeah, go ahead. Let's see if you actually have something that's a little more valuable than the last 10 calls I've gotten.
Where were you heading when your intention was to sell the house? Where were you planning to move?
You know, I was really just planning to downsize and maybe move a bit closer to where my kids live. But with all this hassle, I'm just feeling like maybe I should just stay put. But hey, you've got me talking, so let's see what you've got.
What's important about getting closer to the kids?
Well, I mean, it's really just about being able to see them more often and being a bit more involved in their lives. But I guess it's also about not having to maintain a bigger house that I don't really need anymore. So if you can help me figure that out without all the runaround, I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you any runaround, actually, Mrs. Jones. If you're available for a conversation today at 5 or tomorrow at 4, I'd be happy to come through. I'm going to show you exactly what my team and I do to get homes sold in the time frame in which you're hoping for. And above and beyond that, I trust net is important too. You're looking to make some money as well.
All right. You know what? That actually sounds pretty reasonable. So let's do it. Let's say tomorrow at 4. And I appreciate that you're not just giving me the same old spiel. So I'll see you then.
All the decision makers will be available?
Yeah, you know what? I'll make sure everyone who needs to be there is around. So we'll all be ready to chat and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for keeping it simple.
Excellent. I'll send off the pre-listing packet and I'll plan to see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Have a great day.
Sounds like a plan. I appreciate it.
I shut her off. So she didn't go hard. She didn't go hard. Like I've had it before where she's come back and she's been like, nope. Like you got to keep fighting.
But Alexa, not all calls do. Not all calls go hard.
Not all calls are turned into boxing matches. To your earlier point, what I do love about that is you have a great one. You can and I could do this right now. It's just say, hey, Chad, can you do me a favor? Can you save that conversation? And they will save it. So they're understanding, hey, when I say this, he always goes here. So they'll be ready to pivot and be like, I've heard that before. What else do you have?
I one thing I want to point out is you were role playing to nobody, to an AI bot, and you were still taking notes. And you were still making sure that you were keeping pace. You were gathering the information of a make-believe person, and you were taking notes. And because it's amazing to watch you do that because I think I think all of us have a hard time figuring out what is the process and what should we do. And if you're just making blank phone calls and you're not engaged and you're not taking notes, it's not gonna amount to anything. Even if you get that yes to go sit down, because you're gonna forget a lot of that.
1,000%. We always talk about people don't want to make the first phone call because they don't want to be salesy. They don't know what to talk about which the answer is talk about them, make them the star of the show. And the number one reason, my 3 bullet points on the back of my gravestone: ask great questions, take great notes, have honest conversations. The taking the great notes is, so when you do get back on the phone with Pete, you get back on the phone with Julie, you get back on the phone with Kaylee, you don't have to reset and be like, hey, how's it going? Like, you're not there anymore. You're going to quickly remind them, hey, last time I talked to you, Mittens was going in for surgery. How is she? And you're right back to peas and carrots. And everybody has that friend in their life. You know what? I don't see Julie a lot, but when I see her, it's peas and carrots. We pick up right where we left off. That's the emotion we want to invoke when we get on the phone with the people that we would claim to care about. And I know you do care about these people. Talking to everybody who's listening this morning, if we show up that way, we show up differently, we'll make them feel like the star of the show, and we'll win every time. So,
when people are,
we got to jump. Go ahead.
I just want to, I went to a retreat, a commercial retreat a little while back, and Bob Knackle got on stage, and that was like the peak of like AI was busting out, and he said, "Stop worrying about being replaced by AI," and everybody like took a good breath, and he goes, "You need to be worried about being replaced by agents that are using AI."
Correct. It's not the tool; it's the people using the tool. Yes. 4,000%. Pedro, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next month, and we'll see you in and around the Market Center. If I can help with anything, let me know. It is 603-834-2856. You can jump into Fight Club right now and talk to your phone if you'd like to warm up by doing that before you call your humans. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.